Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pigs on the Run, powered by PigWorks and the Cincinnati Flying Pig Marathon, powered by P&G. I'm Betsy Ross. We hope over the last couple of weeks you have enjoyed some of the interviews that we've been doing with some of our pig partners. And if there's a topic that you would like us to cover or a specific person you would like us to interview, just let us know. Drop us a note in the comments. On this edition of Pigs on the Run, we talk with Cincinnati's own gold medal winning runner and an author, Mary Wineberg.
You know her as an Olympic gold medalist. She is an author. She is a school teacher. She is an entrepreneur and does a little bit of everything. Also, she is on the Flying Pig Marathon board, and we are proud to have Mary Wineberg with us. Mary, thank you so much for being with us. How are you guys doing this summer?
You know, we're holding in, we're holding on, holding in, holding on to everything. We're doing as well as we can. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to talk to you about everything that's going on.
Well, it is, even though a lot of things are not happening, it still is a busy summer. One of the things not happening, any other year, we'd be sitting watching the Olympics right now, the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. And this year we're not. It's a year delayed. What do you think that means for an athlete? Because they called this pretty early so that people wouldn't have to be like in the middle of training and then have it called off.
Exactly. You know, it made big news, you know, for the Olympics to be postponed. You know, something big had to be going on, because think about it, all the athletes all over the world, they're, you know, training, not only training the year before, but the year before that. The Olympics occur every 4 years. So for them to have to postpone it, it meant a lot to the athletes. I know for me, when I was training in 2008, I would have been devastated. Not only devastated, but I would have felt like, wow, that anticipation and everything that you're building up for, you now have to rebuild that back up. And, you know, with that nervousness, you just want that opportunity to come. But then again, for some athletes, it's sort of a blessing in disguise in the fact that maybe they were injured, maybe they weren't quite prepared as they thought they were, and now they get an even longer period of time. So I think athletes are adjusting. I know some of the athletes that I have talked to who are gearing up for, you know, now we have to say 2021, they're gearing up for that. You know, they're trying to stay mentally strong, mentally tough, and they're not letting this bring them down. They're still being optimistic.
And I want to bring up that you're involved in an effort with the IOC and several advertisers to kind of bring the Olympic experience to us, even though we're not actually watching it.
Totally. You know, Friday would have been the opening day ceremonies in which I can remember my opening day ceremony experience. I'm actually going to fly a flag outside of my house. I have this big Olympic flag with the rings, so people will know that would have been the start. So Airbnb, along with the International Olympic Committee, they are gearing up to have Olympic experiences in which you would have been able to go to Tokyo and you would have been able to see all these athletes compete. But instead, now you will be able to have some time with them, one-on-one time or some virtual time in which they'll be presenting different experiences. And so, yeah, I'll be taking part in that on Saturday. Actually, it's story time with an Olympic gold medalist. And then after that, you can continue to log on to Airbnb, select Olympic experiences, type in the person's name that you might be interested in, or just kind of browsing to see who you might want to get with.
Great. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's the first time in history. So, hey.
Well, and you're making history too. I mentioned that you are an author. You have written, of course, your autobiography, but now you have a new book out, and this one's really for kids. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, when I wrote the first book, I wanted to be very transparent and kind of share with people kind of how I grew up and how I became an Olympic gold medalist. And I started to think about the younger kids. You know, I'm in education. I teach second grade. I've been teaching now for about 10 years. And I thought, wow, I want a book that's going to resonate with them as well, where they can relate to knowing that it's not always about winning. Yes, I am an Olympic gold medalist, and yes, I've won various medals, but also when I first started, I didn't win a lot. And I didn't win in the fact that I almost wanted to give up and I wanted to stop competing. So with this children's book, it's called I Did Win, and I kind of show everybody. It's about a little boy named Jackson who learns to set a goal, Well, he first learns what a goal is. Then he learns to set this goal and what it takes to work towards a goal. And then he's able to learn some life lessons, kind of like what I learned in my preparation for the Olympic Games, that sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. And in this case, he walks away realizing a life lesson. So, yeah.
And those are good lessons for kids to learn
Totally.
in this day and age when everybody gets a medal. That's probably
Yeah.
very important. But,
Yes, they do.
talking about kids and sports in general, running in particular, how important is it for you as an athlete, for a decorated track medalist? How important do you think it is to pass that sport along, any sport, but especially running, pass that sport along to another generation?
You know, I think it's really important, especially for the generation that's coming up now, that's preparing, like you had mentioned, for the Olympics. They're able to do that because they've seen the individuals that have gone before them, do all the amazing things. And I think right now it's a key time for youth, especially youth that are in athletics or interested in running, to just kind of be able to see and have that exposure. I'm a firm believer on exposure. And even with my own children, they've already told me they're not running track, which I'm okay with. It hurt me at first, but then I said, you know what? I will expose them to this. And if they want to do it, they want to do it, and I think that's the thing with children. They tend to not know exactly what that sport might entail. And they'll say, no, I don't want to try it. But it's like exposure, just try it, get out there and have some fun.
Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing. You have
Totally.
been such a supporter of the Flying Pig events, the Queen Bee. You're always there at the start line for the Queen Bee. Of course, everything.
Even when I was pregnant.
The running world has been turned upside down this year. Just about everything after the Olympic trials has been virtual, and probably will be to the end of the year, at least in our part of the country. Doing a virtual event, I've heard pros and cons from runners. The one thing that they talk about is keeping motivated. How do you stay motivated when you don't have a date, a place to be to run your event? Give us some advice. How do you stay motivated for something like that?
You have to find it within you. And I know sometimes that's kind of a hard thing to understand, especially when you're so used to being at the event and having the area filled with people and competitors and people to cheer you on and to say, go, run that last part of this race. You just have to look at it as this is the new times now. And I have to dig deep and find inside, how am I going to still accomplish my goal of virtually completing this race? And, the feelings are going to be different, but I think you can still find joy and happiness in both ways. And like you stated, there are those pros and cons, but I think deep down inside, just going out there and still realizing that you have a job to get done. And for you, the job is finishing this race.
Mm-hmm. I've asked you this before, Mary, but I think it's really poignant. What did winning a gold medal mean to you? And you're so gracious about talking about your events and leading up to it, and you let people put your gold medal on and handle it. And I'm not sure I would do that if I had.
I've slowed up on that a little bit, and I'll tell you why later. But yes.
I can imagine. But what did that mean to you to work as hard as you did? As you mentioned, you didn't make it the first time.
Right.
To go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
What did winning that gold medal mean to you at the moment? And even today, what did it mean?
Yeah, totally. So in that moment, I will sometimes even go back, and especially with the opening day coming up on Friday, the family will sit down and we'll just have a reminiscence of Mary at the Olympic Games. And, when I watch the video, I still can feel that intensity, and I can still feel that nervousness as if I'm on the line, even though I know the results. And it was an amazing experience just to know how hard I worked, just to know all the sacrifices and the dedication and the unwavering perseverance that I put into making it to that podium and being able to represent my country, my city, my state, high school, college, and just my family in general. It was an amazing experience. And even until now, just being able to share my story over and over with different individuals and just letting them realize that yes, you may not be necessarily going after the same goal that I did in terms of an Olympic gold medal, but there might be something else that you might be striving to do to secure your gold. And so I just want to inspire everyone and just share the story that in the end, dreams can come true. And in my case, my dream came true, and I'm still living the dream life as well.
Absolutely. I do know a couple of gold medalists who were very generous about letting people handle their gold medal, and they have a dent or two in their medal because of it.
Yes, and that's my reason now why I've slowed up. A little child, and I couldn't get mad at the little child, but they dropped it on a marble ground, and there's a little crack in my medal, so I have to be very careful with it. Because in order to get that medal, repaired, you have to send it off for a couple of years, all the way to Switzerland. And I'm just like, I'll hold on to this. It gives it character.
Nice story. It has character, and it makes for a nice story. That's
totally.
Right. So, well, Mary, we hope that we will be seeing you again at the line sooner rather than later for a flying.
Exactly.
Because we love your input and your insight and really what you have meant to the running community here. Because as I say, you're always out there talking about running and reaching your goals, and not just for runners, but for all of us. It's a great
for everyone. Yes, thank you so much for having me. And yes, if anyone's interested in getting I Didn't Win, they can go to maryweinberg.com. And also, if they're interested in doing the Airbnb experience with any Olympian, just go to Airbnb, click on Olympic experiences, and take it from there.
All right, and you will be gearing up for the school year here pretty soon. So
I'm gearing up for the school year. It's going to be a nervous situation. I'm just really hoping that things come together, that it's a safe environment for all.
And everybody is wishing that. Mary Wineberg, all the best. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. You and your family stay well.
You too. Thank you so much.